Today we're making a kale bean casserole with a crunchy topping. And I just want to show you that I have everything here ready and prepared to go. This is what really helps make cooking easier, is when you have everything out, including my pot. It really helps you get well organized. So I'm going to wash all my stuff, and I just want to talk about the kale for a sec. So this is dinosaur kale, and it does have this stem inside of it. And so I'm just going to wash it and cut that stem out. I'm also going to, wash my other herbs that I picked from my garden and have my tomatoes, chop up the garlic, onion, and we'll start cooking. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to put some olive oil in our pan. And I have this beautiful pancetta that we're putting into the pan, okay? You can hear it start to sizzle already. The pan's nice and hot. I'm gonna mix this around and let it get nice and brown. And then I'm just gonna put it on this plate with a paper towel. Okay, so you can see that it's getting really nice and brown and crispy, and you can actually see the pan has some nice brown bits on it. So I'm gonna use this guy to take out the pancetta and put it on my paper towel, but I'm gonna leave the grease in here, or the fat, and I'm gonna throw my onions in there. Okay, in go the onions. And we're cooking it in the fat because the flavor is incredible. It's gonna spread throughout the dish. Remember, this is gonna be like a casserole, and this kind of flavor is gonna do really, really well for you. I'm just gonna throw some salt and pepper on these onions here, and I'm gonna let the onions get a little brown, just like we got the pancetta brown, because as Anne Burrell used to say, brown food tastes good, and that's 100% the case. So we're gonna get these nice and sauteed, and then I'm going to make a roux. All right, so my onions are brown. Like, you can see what's happening in the pan. This is a really good sign. So I'm gonna throw my garlic in here. And when you're working with garlic, first of all, if you're following a recipe and it says like 2 cloves of garlic, you should double that, or you're not really gonna taste it. But when you're working with garlic, when you smell it, that is when it's done. Otherwise, you risk burning it and it gets bitter and yucky. So I'm gonna take some flour here, and we're making a roux because there's plenty of fat still in here. I've got, 3 tablespoons of flour in there. And I'm just gonna mix this up, and you can see, right? It's starting to get nice and thick. And what we're trying to do here, I'm gonna throw one more in here. What we're trying to do here is cook out the flour. So you don't want a floury taste to the food that you're cooking. So just let it get a little brown, no worries. Like we said, brown food tastes good. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pour in some chicken stock, and I'm going to keep mixing, and it's just gonna thicken up. And then I'm gonna put the rest of the ingredients in here. All right, so the first thing that's going into the bath is my beans. I got a can of garbanzo beans and a can of Great Northern beans, because guess what? That's what I had in my closet. Cannellini works, anything works. Whatever kind of beans you like is gonna work in here. So be creative, and that's the best thing about cooking, is you can customize the ingredients to your own likes and needs. So here's our kale. You can see I chopped it up here. I took out those stems. I like kale in this dish as opposed to like spinach, because it's a little heartier. And kale is so good for you, and there's so many different things you can do with it. You can make pesto with it. You could put it in your smoothie. So this is just one of the ways we're trying to get some good stuff into our bodies. So I'm just gonna mix this in. It'll wilt, it'll get done because it's gonna go in the oven. I did promise you a crunchy topping, so before we do that, we're gonna put in our halved tomatoes that I got from my sister's garden here. And we're also gonna put in, I took out some chives from my little herb garden and some parsley. And we're gonna mix this all together. I'm gonna salt and pepper, and we're gonna work on the topping. Okay, so I've let everything cook down just a little bit, not too much. And like, remember all those brown burnt pieces on the side of the pot? They're all gone now. So, you know, something else to consider when you're learning how to cook or you're cooking is the quality of your pots really make a big difference. You see this is getting nice and thick here. So we're gonna take our crispy pancetta that we worked on earlier, and we're gonna drop that into the bath. Give that just a little mix. And I'm gonna take, the crunchy topping is everything. So I've got some organic panko and some Romano cheese. I'm just gonna sprinkle in some olive oil. I mean, if you wanna melt some butter and mix this all together, you can, but the olive oil, you know, if sourced properly, has a ton of polyphenols in it and really helps your overall digestion. So this is our topping. I'm gonna just sprinkle it on here, throw it in a 375 oven for about 20 minutes, and we'll show you the finished product. Okay, so here we go. You can see how nice and crispy, because the crispy topping is gonna give you the texture you need in this dish. So I'm just gonna take some out here, and you can see how beautiful it is on the inside. You got some beans and pancetta. Bon appetit.